as a woman in your 30s, there's so many messages about this is it. That's not true.
The patriarchy hates a clear, energized, vibrant, rich woman.
You allowed me to see myself as a woman of caliber. Professional athletes go out there and they nourish their bodies and they do what they need to do and handle their business so that they're able to perform on the court. As a business owner, as a wife, as a daughter, as all the things that we as women carry, we learn how to live in alignment with that and how do we nourish ourselves.
Some of your results are results that most women wouldn't believe would be possible unless they were on Ozempic.
The medical system will assign you or prescribe you because it's a band-aid and not a solution.
When you are good, when your health is good, everything else gets in check.
If you want to live your life feeling good 99% of the time, then you make adjustments to do that, period. I'm so glad that I was not ready, but like willing to do the work.
Okay. Before we dive in, I want to set the stage for what you're about to hear. This episode is a little different, and honestly, one of my favorites. What you're about to listen to is a compilation of 3 real live client interviews I've hosted recently. 3 women, 3 very different bodies, histories, and lifestyles, but one shared breakthrough. We stopped band-aiding symptoms and we actually fixed what was causing them. You'll hear from Saskia, Karely, and Natalie, all graduates of my program, She's a Force, as they break down exactly what changed when they stopped guessing and fixed the root cause. They identified what their bodies needed and stopped white-knuckling their healing journey. Saskia went from bloated, exhausted, and stuck in daily sugar cravings to 17 pounds down and 84% of her hormone symptoms reversed in just 90 days. While running a business, moving to a new country, and working full-time. There was no calorie counting, no GLP-1s, no pausing her life. We just ran the right labs, built a strategy for her body, and the results were inevitable. Karely dropped 20 pounds and reversed 75% of her symptoms in 90 days. She healed her metabolism. She reversed her joint pain, and this one's big. She finally healed a decade-long battle with rosacea, all without missing the pool parties, living on restriction. She went from inflamed and exhausted to confident, glowing, and loving how she feels in her body. And Natalie, she healed years of fatigue and brain fog. She dropped 25 pounds and she reversed over 70% of her symptoms and completely reignited her life. This is without Ozempic, calorie obsession, no HIIT training 5 days a week. She went from burnout and chronic inflammation and having to slow her business down to feeling hot, visible, energized, and launching multiple new initiatives in her business, taking everything to the next level. This is what happens when you stop fighting your body and actually learn how to meet its needs so that she can show up for you big. So as you listen, I want you to pay attention to the patterns, the symptoms they once normalized, and the moment they realized their body was not broken. It was just asking for the right support. All right. Let's get into it.
I am so excited to introduce you to one of my clients, Saskia. She had some pretty insane results from spending 12 weeks in my She's a Force group coaching program. She lost 17 pounds. She reversed 84% of her symptoms. She lost 2 inches off of her waist. Every single goal that she set out to accomplish was accomplished. And you're going to get to hear directly from her as a business owner, as someone who also works full-time in the corporate world and loves to travel, how she was able to accomplish this without pausing her life or relying on a conventional approach, and really how she was able to also really heal her metabolism. She was dealing with a lot of weight loss resistance for a while, also some cystic acne, which I can personally resonate with, and chronic bloating, and all of those things were really disruptive and just annoying in her life, and she is a healer herself. She does incredible spiritual healing work, and she really felt like she wanted to pour into her physical being so that her spiritual practices and that connection could be even stronger and more well supported. So
I was working full time in an education nonprofit, plus having my healing business, which was gaining momentum on the side. In many ways, both of those things were things that I really loved. And so I think it was a little sneaky for me for a bit, because I felt like, oh, I'm doing things I really love and care about and I'm passionate about. I love the people that I work with at work. I love the clients that I get to have in my business. I felt a lot of the energy around that. And in general, I also thought that I was, eating relatively healthy. I was, hiking almost every single day, at least like 2 to 3 miles. And so it was almost like one day I just like woke up and was getting dressed, and I had that dreaded experience that I think a lot of women can relate to, of just, this doesn't fit, this doesn't look right, like this doesn't fit. And I was just kind of like pulling different things out of the closet. And at least for me in the moment, it felt like these jeans just fit last week. Like it was like one of those things where I couldn't really comprehend what was happening. And it was, really upsetting. Like, I think it's just upsetting when we're kind of confronted with I'm not maybe as healthy as I thought I was, or I don't look like I thought I did. I'll be very transparent. At first I was going to say, like, even though I am a healer and a spiritual mentor, but because I'm a healer and a spiritual mentor, and I honor all aspects of myself, it just is true that there was an aspect of me, the human part of me, that was like, I don't like how I look right now, and this is killing my confidence. As you know, and I know you've spoken about growing a business on social media, you've got to be on, you've got to do lives, you have to talk to the camera. And so I was experiencing just a lot of bloating, waking. I think sometimes just like the inflammation and the bloating made me feel a little bit crazy, because it would be like Monday, these jeans fit, and like Wednesday, like there's absolutely no way. And so I'd be like, what is going on? Like, how did I gain 10 pounds between Monday and Wednesday? And then there was the cystic acne, right? Like the breakouts that would happen all on my jawline, especially around my period. And all of those things were like really killing confidence. So that was starting to get to me. And then, I think there were still some ways in which I was like, okay, I could just eat a little bit healthier. Like, I can look something up on Google or ChatGPT and like figure this out. And at the end of the day, like, it's my spirit, it's my soul, like I'm good. Right. And so I think I was kind of pushing it a little bit. And then I started noticing the ways that it was also affecting the things that I loved. Like, I'd walk into the kitchen and be like, what did I come in here for? Like,
yeah, that's real. Memory loss.
Exactly.
Brain fog. Yeah.
I would start to feel like, I've always been a very disciplined, very focused person. And that was sort of going out the window as well. I felt like I would metaphorically have 10 tabs open in my brain, literally have 10 tabs open on the computer. And I would start to ping pong, and kind of having that like, oh my God, like, do I have ADHD? And it just took me 35 years to notice, like, what is going on, right? Yeah. We are human, and we're having a human experience, and the human experience is lived through this physical body. And if this physical body can't be a healthy, like sustainable, beautiful, and I mean that in deeper senses of the word too, home for my spirit, home for my gifts, home for everything that I'm offering and that I'm doing out in the world, then that's not okay with me. I just got to a point where I was like, okay, I have to prioritize this. And for me, it did mean slowing down a little bit in my business while I was also at the time still working full time. But I got actually very clear through meditation for myself that this matters more right now in this moment.
Sometimes you do have to slow it down for a short period of time so that you can come back and move so much faster. Dedicating 90 days to healing and detoxifying and replenishing so many things that have been neglected for sometimes decades is such a small blip in time in the grand scheme of things. And it gives you more energy, more clarity. I mentioned more confidence, so that when that work is done and the body is elevated, like you come back so much more dangerous.
And it even became a dance, because everything is so interconnected. So I decided to prioritize my body. But as I was prioritizing my body and my brain function and just my body's function, more clarity started to come in about my life, about decisions I needed to make, about how I wanted to move through things. about maybe even some of the energetic weight that I was carrying. And so I think that was like a really cool aspect, especially for, again, where I'm coming from and my line of work. It's like, oh yeah, as I was shedding these pounds, I was also literally able to shed limiting beliefs, able to see some things more clearly, able to see different perspectives. And I think it really does all work together. I think it was just frustrating to not know the root cause of things, because I mean, I learned so much through the program about different foods and how they can affect my body. And I was definitely eating some things that were contributing to that inflammation. But I think that by and large, I was probably above average American, like in terms of my diet. I have a dog. I love nature. Like, again, I was out there hiking like 2 to 3 miles every single day. I was never good at the strength training, like, well, was never good at the strength training routine, but I was doing things here and there. So basically it was just like, I'm buying organic things. Like I'm doing all of these things. I'm spending money on expensive skincare. And it always seemed like, who knows, like Monday, this will all work and I'll be good. Tuesday, somehow it's not working. Like my skin looks amazing for 2 weeks. Then I don't know what the heck happened the third week. That was really the thing where I was like, okay, who's going to know how to guide me in figuring this out for my body? And I think this is a thing that I didn't really want to be true, because in some ways it's just so much easier to like sign up for the gym or like sign up for that 7 or 14-day program. But it's really like nutrition based. So I lost 17 pounds throughout the program, and I did not start working out until like the first month. I was like, okay, Leslie has me on like a whole regimen, like eating and fasting. Like I just need to focus on one thing. So of course I was still walking around, and I still need to take my dogs for walk, but I did not work out. Like I wasn't strength training for even 5 minutes. I wasn't doing all of these extra things. And that's the month that I lost the most weight. So I think we don't always want to hear it, but like it is about what we're eating first and foremost.
Yeah, what a hot take.
That was the thing I hadn't realized. Like you can't really, there's like no amount of Pilates that's going to make up the inflammatory foods if you're eating them like every single day.
Put that shit on a t-shirt.
Yeah. But if you don't really love, spending an hour in the gym, which I do not, then it's also really empowering to know that you can really do a lot of your health through food.
I mean, it is the substance that goes in through your mouth, throughout your entire core, obviously out the other end, but it is literally what your cells have to function off of. And for nutrition not to be the number one focus of healthcare is the most insanity thing. Like when you even if you don't know anything about science or anything, just that fact, this is a substance that goes throughout our entire body, all of our intestines. It fuels our heart and our digestive tract and our muscles and our hormone system and our thyroid functioning. It is what is everything. But there's quite a few functional doctors that still don't have proper nutrition training. And you go to them and they just give you like 25 supplements to incorporate. And they also don't have a business structure to where it will actually help you integrate, unlearn a lot of things, relearn a lot of things, and really understand the why behind why you're doing what you're doing. So you have clarity on why it's worth it to prioritize it. Nutrition is everything. When we ran your labs, which are functional labs, we did see that you did have estrogen dominance. You did have low progesterone. You did have low testosterone. And all of those really made a lot of the weight loss resistance and the inflammation that you were experiencing, the brain fog, headaches, low energy. Like, it was so obvious what was going on with your hormones. Was any of that like clarifying? Like, how did it make you feel to get like final clarity on what was going on under the hood?
Yeah. I mean, I love the clarity, because that when you have the data and there are things that you can do. And I think what I love about functional medicine is like, it doesn't have to be like get on a medication. This is
Right.
There are literally, like, yes, there are supplements, and there are also literally foods and lifestyle changes that you can make to support your body and recalibrating. And so for me, it was just really empowering to have the data, affirming about some of the things that I was experiencing. Because again, I think that sometimes it feels like in this society, like who's not tired,
Yeah.
bloated, right? Feeling like their brain is switching from one thing to the next. I mean, we have these phones that we're always on, right? And so those symptoms can just be really dismissed as, oh, it's just, modern society, or it's just a little bit of burnout, or it's just like, go take a vacation or lay down and like, you'll be fine after that. And so it was just affirming. And I also want to give you your flowers in that, I know we had a little bit of a delay getting my labs done. And when I had described my symptoms to you, you had pretty much said like what the labs came back and said. That's actually also really cool. Just somebody that like really knows their stuff. And I think that's also empowering and learning to listen to our bodies, right?
Mhm.
Like, hey, I can now understand a little bit more about, hey, when these symptoms come up, it's always worth getting the labs and checking. But there's also like, we started to do things about it before the labs came. So like I had to sit and wait for another confirmation. There were some very real symptoms that were showing up for me that we were able to just start addressing even before the labs. Just empowering to be able to make the choice, right?
Yeah.
There was, before we started working together, was like, okay, there is long-term impact of all of these choices that aren't actually serving me. But also in the last month, I have been like, I have an opportunity to go to this like Michelin star restaurant and it is delicious. And
Yes.
I am making the conscious choice that I'm going to eat this, and there might be bloating tomorrow. There might be a breakout in another week, but I'm choosing this, right? At the end of the day, a breakout is not like a definition of who I am.
Yes.
It actually helped me have a better relationship with even those things because it didn't seem like a mystery anymore.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, girl, you really wanted to have some of that dairy. And like a week later, you have a breakout. And now we're going to clean out the system and we're going to not eat all of this all the time. And like your skin will rebalance and you're good. The chronic and the persistence of it is the body screaming and saying like, hey, I need support. There's an issue here. But like a once in a while something, it's like I get to make that conscious choice that having this meal or enjoying this thing with a loved one or treating myself to this thing and being bloated the next day is a choice, and it's not the end of the world.
It's not selfish to want to be healthier so that you can show up for everybody in your life. Like, would you resonate with that too?
Absolutely. Who you can show up as in the world. And again, just speaking about it for me, everything does come through this physical body as a human being. And so
Yeah.
technical skills, but also my spiritual gifts and all of those things are coming through my body. So if my body wasn't there, what I could do for my clients, what I could do at work when I was working, right? It's just not the same. So I think one, you're important in your own right. You are like worthy and deserving of prioritizing yourself. And now again, I've been able to shift a lot of my relationship with even the working out or the food. It's not to achieve a specific desired look. It's now that I have all this knowledge, it's like, oh, why I love myself. Why would I put inflammatory things into my body every single day? Like that's not a loving thing to do. And so I think it's just really healing. And then again, like if you're walking around stressed, fatigued, mentally foggy, like you're probably not that fun to be around. And if you can't handle the stress in your life, like you're probably not handling interpersonal conflict or feedback or anything really that great. So it's the opposite of selfish to be able to show up for yourself first and foremost, but then also to be able to come with that energy, with that clarity, with that openness, with that groundedness for other people in your life that you care about. As a woman in your 30s, maybe even like early 40s, like there's so many messages about this is it and this is just what happens. And there's so much like fear and just really not helpful messages for us. That's not true. It's just not true. And it feels so good to be now like approaching 36 and be like, I have a few more months of like continuing to just apply this information. And I'm excited. That's so much more empowering. And I think it's actually like so important at this time right now. And I think it's like a big FU to the patriarchy to say this decline that's happening after 30 is really societal. It's really the beliefs and stories that we are made to buy into. And I don't think that those things are an accident. And so I think being able to take control of your health, especially at this time, being able to feel radiant and whole and powerful within yourself, we need to be doing that. And we really do need to be taking care of our health and knowing especially how the kitchen is medicine at this time. It's extremely important.
The patriarchy hates a clear, energized, vibrant, rich woman. On that note, mic drop. We gonna wrap it up on that note, okay? I am so excited to introduce you to one of my all-time favorite clients, Karely. She is going to be hopping on to share with you directly her journey since the beginning of this year, how she dropped 18 pounds and reversed 75% of her hormone imbalance symptoms. She was a part of my She's a Force program, which is my 12-week group coaching program. And when she first came to me, she was really just so determined. She had had quite a few things that were just lingering for, some of the things were lingering for over a decade. And she was really looking for somebody to really lock arms with her and guide her through the work, because the issue wasn't her not wanting to do the work. She will put in the work, but she was like, I need answers. I want support. I want guidance through this. And I just am so excited for y'all to hear her story, because it's really inspiring, not only for, I'm sure you, but also for me, to really watch someone reclaim their health and do it while also accepting support along the way.
As a leader, it's important to also know when to receive help. And I apply that in my workspace. And I'm like, why can't I apply that to my real life, right? I don't have to have it all figured out. And I think that's why I came to you, because I'm like, okay, I've been doing this thing for years that at some point was working and it's no longer working.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Like, what is happening here? And so I was like, I am at my ends with, like, I don't know what else I need to be doing. So that's where you came in, and your guidance has been absolutely incredible. There were times where I didn't trust the process. I was like, okay, well, this goes against everything that I know. But I'm like, but I'm asking for help for a reason. So you might as well just try it.
No, that is so real. And that is such a good point. Like, literally, so much of my work is teaching women how to unlearn all of these extremely unhelpful, unproductive tactics that were brewed up in the 90s and early 2000s, and is all rooted in like burning the body down, burning the calories, burning the fat, restricting, trying to get smaller and smaller. Whereas the real sustainable and effective approach to healing the metabolism so that it can activate and really turn on and do the work that you need it to is to nourish the body, to restore the body, and to build the body up. And I just also think that like restrictive and like very diminishing approach to healing with your body is really unsustainable. So, something I'm really excited about for you is that this work now. Like, the blueprint, the strategy, and what you've accomplished so far has been absolutely incredible. But my clients go on for years down the road and still come back to me reporting continued progress, because you've built a sustainable, nourishing, and effective relationship with how you nourish and how you move.
I came to you in that moment because I was like, I can't do this anymore on my own, right? Like, I've been doing the macro counting. I've been doing the restrictions. I am in the gym 5 times a week. I'm walking my 10K steps, and I'm doing the Stairmaster. Like, I'm doing it all. And like, what's happening? Like, I'm still puffy. Like, I just felt puffy. And I'm like, yes, this is inflammation. And I kept hearing it left and right. I went to the dermatologist because I had like rosacea going on in my face. My joints were hurting in a way that I was like, this is strange. Like, what is actually happening? And I remember that dermatologist told me, she's like, honestly, I can give you all of these creams, but at the end of the day, you need to work on your inflammation. And I walked out of there like, what does that even mean? And so I had been following you for a while. And then I saw that you started talking about that. And I was like, wait, hold on. Is this a sign? And so I came to you because I'm like, I'm tired of feeling this way, right? Like I'm in bed my 9 hours. Why do I wake up like I didn't sleep? Why do I feel like I need multiple cups of caffeine? I used to be the person that didn't need that much caffeine. I would, only on Fridays would be a treat for me. And I had gotten into this cycle where that was happening, where I needed like 2, 3 coffees. And I'm like, what is going on? My back was hurting. My knees were hurting. I'm like, this can't be it. Like, I cannot live this life. I like to jet set. I need to be able to run with my carry-on on top. And
She don't have to live her European, or I'm sorry, Middle Eastern best life.
yes, yeah, like I have places to be. I can't be living this life. Like
I know.
I refuse to accept that as we get older, you aren't as agile, right? And I'm like, we are in a stage where we want to start having kids in the near future. And so I'm like, I could be able to like bend over and be with my child and be able to play on the ground with them, be able to run after them, be able to be an active mom. And so I think that really inspired me. I was just tired of feeling like I was in this hamster wheel that I couldn't get off. And I didn't know how. And so it's really exhausting when all you think about is food and workout and you're not comfortable in your body, not even because of the way that you look, but the way that you feel.
Yes.
And I was so tired of it. I was like, I can't do this to myself anymore. This is not healthy. Mentally, it's not even healthy. If we're going to get really vulnerable, I didn't really believe in myself. I really didn't believe that I could achieve something different. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you haven't tried this. I remember when I wrote down all of my goals starting She's a Force, and those goals, I read back and I'm like, wow, and we talked about this. I even cried during one of our check-ins because I was like, wow, I really accomplished this at the midway point. And I didn't believe that I could. And yet, so I shot so small.
One of your short-term goals was, I want to rein in my mind and embrace the ongoing challenge that it'll be to live differently, knowing there's a brighter and healthier side on the other end. And I want to be able to transform decades-old habits. And that is such a significant point right there, because sometimes women come to me and they're like, they really do want that like one session, one quick fix to like untangle it all. And I'm like, babe, these habits and learnings have been coded into you since day one of you existing on this earth. So that is why I really highly recommend at least a 12-week program to really unlearn, reprogram, and get into a different cycle. Like you mentioned that you were in a cycle that you wanted to break out of, and that's not usually something that always happens, and it's not something that can happen in 60 minutes, like as much as I wish that I could promise that, it's not. That is certainly like kickoff is definitely where you break into a new era, but it's the consistency and the guidance, and it's the integration. So that was your short-term goal. And then your midterm goal was, I want to feel more energized. I want to feel better in my clothes. I want to have lost some inches. I want to feel in control of my body, not like I have to succumb to sugar, salty coffee cravings. Like that is the definition of being in control. And what is something that is so important, and I really wish more women knew this, is that being in control of your body means being in collaboration with your biochemistry, because your biology is really what leads your cravings. If you are magnesium deficient, you're gonna have salt cravings. If you are sleep deficient or nutrient deficient of B vitamins, or if your body's fighting yeast and bacterial overgrowth or chronically hormonally imbalanced, it's going to be incredibly difficult, and I would argue even impossible, to override your biology signals with willpower. You can maybe do that for a week or two, but if your biology is completely dysfunctional, your willpower will only be able to overdrive it for a short period of time. So you really have to rebalance and nourish yourself back to a state where you get into a balanced and collaborative negotiation on a daily basis with your biology. When your body is balanced and you're not battling hormonal imbalances chronically and the cravings chronically, you can actually listen and trust the signals that your body is saying. And you said I want to trust that I know how to fuel my body without having to depend on macro and calorie counting. And I want to tune in with my body and give it exactly what it needs. Like I read these goals and I almost got emotional reading these goals, just reading them by myself, because I was like, this woman really loves herself now, but really wants to fall even deeper in love with herself. You made this decision to step into this program out of complete love and respect for yourself.
One of the biggest things that I learned too was living in alignment. That was something that I learned from you and from the cohort. You know, it's like, how are we doing things that are in alignment with where we want to be with these goals? I mean, I was burnt out, but I was there. The will was there, and I was trying to find a way. And I was like, well, what is happening? I'm doing everything that is said, right? But now it's like, oh, I'm fatigued. Maybe it could be this. Maybe it's that. I have a baseline to start from.
Yes.
And then I know how to nourish myself. You helped me understand what my baseline of what it feels to be good, right? And the other thing I am so grateful for, Leslie, is that, you know, you allowed me to see myself as a woman of caliber, right? And you talk about this a lot. And like, what is it to sustain yourself, right? Professional athletes go out there and they nourish their bodies and they do what they need to do and handle their business so that they're able to perform on the court, right? Or wherever they're performing. And as for me, it's the same thing, you know, like as a business owner, as a wife, as a daughter, as all the things that we as women carry, we learn how to live in alignment with it and how do we nourish ourselves. You know, we can't run on E. And so for me, it was really important to even think of myself that way, because that allowed me to have that self-control, right? I didn't miss a single pool party. If you follow me, you know I'm out. I'm outside. I didn't miss a flight. I didn't miss a pool party. I didn't miss a get-together. I didn't miss my social outings. But I just knew that when I was there, I had to live in alignment, right? I need to be able to give 100% of myself to all of my dreams and my goals and my aspirations. Like I owe this to myself. And so by me not taking care of myself in this way and in making this investment in myself, I felt like I wasn't even giving myself a fighting chance.
What exactly did you try before this program that didn't necessarily move the needle? Was it the calorie and the macro counting specifically, or any other things, any other tactics that you tried?
I've tried it all.
Literally everything.
I mean, literally everything. You want to keto, fasting, like the juice cleanses. I mean, I ran myself down to the ground. I've tried it all. One of the things I had to unlearn was how to fuel myself without counting something, right? If it wasn't on the scale, if I couldn't put a number to it, that meant that it was causing more damage than doing any good, right? And I think that made me a little skeptical about this. I'm not gonna lie. I think I remember coming to you and I'm like, well, how am I gonna know? I didn't tell you this, but at some point I was still putting things in my fitness pal just to see like, how many calories is this? Like, what is the working with? I was like, is it high protein? Like, this thing says I need to have like whatever it was, 1 gram per body whatever the rules were. Whatever the rules were that I forgot. And I'm not saying that it didn't work. It worked at one point in my life, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm in a completely different stage now. It's not my lifestyle anymore. I can't count I mean, I can, but like, I don't want my mind there, right? I didn't feel free in that. I didn't feel like I had the liberty to live my life away from a scale, both the one I was stepping on every day and the one that was weighing all of my food, right? Yeah, I needed to try something else. It worked then and it didn't work now. And the more I think about it is, yes, because, you know, my adrenals weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. I wasn't getting proper rest, even though I thought I was. And you have such a holistic approach to this, right? We're not just talking, yes, nutrition is the base of this. And so is like getting your workouts in. But at the same time, like, how's your sleep, right? Are you taking a moment to breathe between, like, in the day? It was just it was such a holistic approach. And I think I told you this a few weeks ago, how much I appreciated that, because we're multifaceted, right? It's not just one thing. everything around us feeds us. And so that was what was really helpful and powerful.
I will say this until I am blue in the face. Calorie counting, it is built for robots. And our system is an ecosystem, and it's not input in, input out. It is a holistic, integrated ecosystem that has different modes that it's going to function in, and it controls how your body metabolizes your energetic intake. So we'll unpack that some more, but I want to ask you, like, was there a moment in time throughout the program where you were like, oh, like this is actually working without the calorie counting, without the macro counting, all of the, previous tactics, like I really can move in freedom and I do know how to nourish myself and I'm getting results? Was there a moment that really stuck with you?
Yeah, I think it was probably like week 1, week 2. It comes quick. That was week 2, It does come quick. And the first thing you see or the first thing that I felt was my energy level. Yes, that first week, we implemented some strategies. And so I wasn't feeling the most energized. But second week around came and I was like, wait, why I feel this way? This is actually working. I was honestly less irritable. I wasn't as snappy, was even showing up differently for people as well, where it's like I even had like more capacity for people and I was feeling friendlier and I wanted to, make friends out here and, try new classes, try new things. And it really allowed me in this phase that I am in life is to really just like come back home to myself. I think that's what this really looked like. I felt more present with myself. I felt more love for myself rather than you're not doing this and you're falling short here, because I knew that I was giving it all that I had back to myself, right? I'm not even going to say that, one of my biggest regrets is not doing this sooner. I think I came to it at the right time and the time that I needed to.
Absolutely.
But part of me is like, wow, like maybe you should have entered this phase earlier. But no, it is
Divine
worth
timing.
it. Divine timing, yes. And it's just so aligned with where I also am in my life outside of this, right? You don't have to feel whatever it is that you are feeling. When you are in some sort of like toxic relationship and then you meet somebody that treats you better and you're like, you know what? I'm not settling for less. I'm just not. And I feel like that's where I'm at, where I'm like, I'm not settling for feeling any less than where I'm at right now, right? Yes. And if I do, I know what needs to change and I know what levers I need to pull to bring myself back up, right? Yeah. And so I think that has been one of the most powerful things. And so for me, really, I wasn't perfect during this. There were weeks where I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, give me something else. Or, and I would really rely on the group. Like, hey, does anybody have like recipes, anything I can try? Because I'm over this lettuce, right? Like, and because it didn't have to be lettuce. That's what I did now. It could be other things. Yeah. And so I think for me is continuing to build on this and continue to implement those learnings, right? And it's not about being perfect, but it's about being consistent and consistently showing up for myself in this way and knowing that I have the power to decide when I indulge, when I don't. I think that was one of the biggest things, right? Social pressures were such a big thing where I'm like, well, if they're offering me a shot, I'm going to take the shot. And that doesn't have to be the case, right? It's somebody's birthday. I'm happy for you, girl, but I'm not going to have that cake because actually it's going to give me a headache.
That's it. Right there. It's about the people pleasing is a huge component of allowing the space to heal. Like every single one of us, me included throughout my journey, like letting go of the people pleasing has to happen for you to be able to hold your standards strong and healed. Yes, we do have more work to do and we are going to do it, but let's celebrate what we have accomplished thus far because it is incredible. I'm so excited to introduce you to one of my phenomenal clients, Natalie Levy. She had some pretty insane results coming out of this year's fall 2026 cohort of She's a Force. And I think that more women need to hear her story. She was able to lose 25 pounds. She was able to reverse on average 72% of her chronic symptoms. And of those average of symptoms, she was actually able to see a 100% reversal of brain fog, fatigue, bloating, irritability, and specifically also weight gain. So I'm actually going to welcome her on. And before I bring her on, I just want to tell you all how special this woman is to me. She believed in me and my work before many and most others, so much so to the point where I actually hired her to be my business coach last year when I went full-time and launched my practice. And because of her, we're here today. So this is an incredibly special full circle moment because this woman has had an incredibly profound impact on my life and my ability to thrive and do what I love and help women heal. And when I got the opportunity to help her heal, it was like a dream come true. So I am just so excited for you all to hear and meet her yourself and hear her story because it is an absolute inspiration.
I'm really excited to dive in today because I have so much to say. As you know, I always have so much to say, but
Yeah, we love that though. That's what we love about Natalie. Natalie knows some of your results are results that most women wouldn't believe would be possible unless they were on Ozempic or unless they did some insanity crash diet. And, you know, your results were insane by the end of the program. But what's really cool is that they're continuing to come because everything that you implemented and acquired throughout the program, like you're still on it. Like you're fucking locked in still. So like the results are not done yet.
no, not at all. The reality is that I was feeling extremely burnt out prior to joining your program, and for a variety of reasons. One, over the course of a few years, I had gained weight. I think it's just normal for bodies to change. But what I love about your approach is that you really look underneath the hood to see like, well, why is your body changing? Because it's not a one size fits all. And so for me, I knew that my body had changed. Also, my lifestyle had changed. Also, this just stress, travel, like all of the things. And it was hard for me to reconcile because on one hand, I talk about this all the time now. Like I had the tools. Like I did eat mostly whole foods. Like I didn't eat junk. Fast food was never part of my diet. And I was a fairly active person. So, you know, in my mind, I had this belief, well, I'm doing the right things, but something's not right, you know? And so as a result,
clicking. Yeah.
correct. And on top of that, like my brain fog earlier this year was like at a 10. I remember being in a conversation, I could not remember the word factory, like random things were just like, it's like, it's not that I became stupid all of a sudden. It was just that I was constantly searching for words, phrases, things that I knew. And it was really tough. And the worst part was that I was waking up tired very frequently. Like, and that's the worst, honestly. Like
when you have a business to run and clients that depend on you, it's not a fucking option.
And so things really slowed down in my business too as a result, because I knew that I had to take care of myself. I knew that things had to change. I forgot to mention last year I broke my foot, which also put a lot of stress on me and slowed me down quite a bit because I was healing for several months afterwards. So it's like a combination of things that brought me to this point earlier this year. And when I got back to Tulum after traveling for a few months, I was like, something's got to change, you know? And that's when I reached out to you, and you sort of bullied me into joining your program.
Out of love.
Yeah, of course. I would expect nothing less, obviously. But I'm so glad that you did, because I couldn't imagine not having started when I did.
When did you start to notice that like the results were coming and like things were actually changing?
Like 2 weeks into starting the liver detox. The first of it was that I lost 4 pounds, and I was like, ooh, okay. Like 2 weeks, not bad. Like,
yeah.
And it's interesting because at this stage, I don't even necessarily notice the changes as much, you know, but then my clothes don't fit anymore. And I'm like, oh, I think I lost some more weight, which is when I texted you this morning. So I got on the scale out of curiosity, because I'm like, these jeans kind of fit at least a few weeks ago, and they're really baggy now.
I know a couple tweaks that we made in your strategy was shifting what style of workouts that you were doing, because you were doing a ton of like hard, high intensity HIIT.
Yeah.
And I think we shifted more to like, yes, that's still incorporated into the strategy, but I really wanted you to build muscle because I wanted the results that you acquired in the program to stick.
Yeah.
And the only way that that sticks is if you heal the metabolism and build it up rather than burn it down, which is what diet culture will have most women to believe. And why I believe that your physique is changing so drastically is not because you're at the gym doing a fuck ton of cardio. Like,
No.
you are building muscle. Muscle fuels the metabolism, and it will quite literally change your physique. So like,
Yeah.
you may not be losing a ton more weight. More so, your weight is going to continue to shift more and more into muscle. And it's going to be like, you're already sexy as fuck, but you're going to continue to get sexier and sexier and sexier because you're building that like hourglass physique, because that midsection weight, it falls off when the stress is stabilized, when your hormones are stabilized, and you have the muscles that are like burning through energy even when you're at a rest.
I always liked weights. It wasn't that I like shied away from it in the gym.
No.
You know, it was just that with the travel that I was doing also, I didn't have a fitness routine. Like I would walk like 20 something thousand steps on a near regular basis. But while that's good for you, it's certainly not doing what we need for like longevity and like metabolism support and all of that, which is what weightlifting does. And so yeah, like I mean, I love my high intensity classes. I need to burn a lot of energy as a person, which is also part of the strategy. Like I do better when I do that. And I loved going to like run club, which was just like mostly me walking that I joined in Tulum. But then, yeah, the weightlifting has been just reincorporating that back into my routine is great, you know? Like,
yeah, it makes a massive difference. Yeah, we want slow and heavy. Slow and heavy is so much harder than fast and like shorter period of time.
Yes, it's great to like feel good and like, you know, be fit and have energy and all of that. But another thing that drew me to you too is like the way that you position your work specifically for like the leading woman, like we talked about back in the day. But really like women who are, they work hard. Like they have a lot going on for them. They have a lot going for them as well, but they don't really have the energy levels right now to match, or they're experiencing other symptoms that are derailing what they could be doing, you know? And for me, that was big because like I mentioned, my business really like slowed down because I had to slow down. I did not have a choice. My body was like, sit your ass down. But that's not me as a person. Like that's not my energy. That's not who I am. And I knew that like, if I liked how I looked, first of all, more, and if I like felt better and I had more energy, like that was going to directly impact my output. And so many people in the past few months have just noted, they're like, you always show up, but like you're showing up. And I was like, yeah, because I wasn't actually showing up. Like I can do more than the average person, even when I'm struggling, you know, but that's not my full potential. It's really big just to be able to like have the output, have the energy, have the excitement back in my business because I feel good.
That's literally why I made this program, because I am her too. I see you, you see me.
Yeah.
And what I know is that if you are a woman of high caliber that has very high expectations for yourself, a lot of people rely on you. You require a higher quality standard of resources and more resources than the typical woman. And when I'm talking about resources, I'm talking about sleep. I'm talking about the quality and density of your mineral download. I'm talking about your vitamin reserves. I'm talking about your energetic intake. Like, what people don't realize is that you can be having goals and expectations of yourself, a very high performance person, but your intake and your lifestyle are in alignment with that of the average person or someone that doesn't have that much relying on you. You go through more B vitamins than the average person. You go through more electrolytes than the average person. That is the difference in strategy. And that is what I teach high performing women to do so that they can meet that version of themselves that is like unfuckwithable. When you are good, when your health is good, everything else gets in check. How have the people around you responded to this? Like, you made a shift in how you're moving, how you're living, how you're nourishing. How has that impacted the people around you?
Damien also lost 20 pounds, like insane, you know? We're very lucky, the two of us. We have very like supportive and just like engaged partners, you know? And so for him, like he cooks a lot of our meals. And he just like doubled down on cooking for us. And so we didn't really, and he also didn't have a lot of the dairy and things like that in the house. It was like in solidarity with me, you know? One of the things that I came to you about was like libido. And my libido was way lower, which is like normal because of all of that I was expending and all this, you know, everything. And like I had some things came back in my labs that just like really emphasized like, yeah, that tracks, you know?
Oh my God, like your life is better. It's also a health thing. Like,
yeah.
We need an active sex life. And in a long-term relationship, having an active and healthy sex life is the difference between having a happy relationship or a relationship that's just holding on. Like the significance and the importance of that. And I am just so happy to hear that your experience has evolved.
And like also just clients of mine, as you know, people are joining your program too because they're seeing the results that I'm experiencing and they want to feel similarly. They want to like take the reins of their health. When you're showing your own evolution and like you're showing a transformation, it really inspires other people.
Your whole, like all the inflammation has flushed and like the jawline is snatched and your skin is glowing, like your skin tone. It is a representation of how you feel inside. It's not easy to get into amazing shape. It's not easy to maintain health. And when you lock that in, it is you like strengthening your respect for yourself because you have to do it out of respect or it's not sustainable. But also the way that people treat you changes. Like I notice a difference in how people treat and respond to me when I started to get into shape. It's like, oh, like you're someone that has standards. You're someone that like puts in the fucking work and you're someone that takes responsibility for you know, who they want to be.
Being hot is important to me, you know, and I've
been and there ain't nothing wrong with that because it's also very important to me too.
So I also do want to address like my bigger whys because I feel like that's really important because yes, obviously I'm vain to some extent. And I did do it because I wanted to feel better and look better. But I also had other deeper whys to why I did this work. And I think a lot of the women who join, yes, there is the weight loss portion and like the inflammation decreasing portion. And also like there's so many other reasons to do this work. And so personally, when I, you know, like I told you, I also want to get pregnant in the next like couple of years at least. And in order to do that, like I wanted to make sure I was fertile, which thank God I am. So like that's great. That's good to know because of the blood test that I did. But also I really always had this in my mind where I wanted to get into the best shape of my life prior to getting pregnant. One, because people don't talk about this enough. We're not educated on this, but both your partner's health and your health directly influences the quality of like the
sperm, the fertility,
everything,
carrying it to term.
Exactly. Yes. So all of these things and like how many nutrients they get as a child, like their development within you, like there's so many things that I wish everybody knew rather, you know? And so knowing that, I was like, okay, well, if I know that, I have a responsibility to actually align with that because I have the privilege of that education, you know, and access to the resources. So there's that. And then also vanity again, pregnancy does a number on your body. And I am manifesting twins. Everybody manifest with me. I want a one and done situation. But that also does quite a number on your body, even more so than like a one baby pregnancy. And so knowing that and knowing that I'm going to have to do so much work on my pelvic floor and so much work on my abdomen and like in order to get back into good shape and health. Again, it's about health, longevity. I got to be in good shape. You know what I mean? So those are two of like my other whys in addition to like wanting to be better for my business, wanting to be better for my clients, wanting to feel better, look better. I want to be better for my babies, my future babies.
There's no difference between a pregnancy health optimization program, and She's a Force. She's a Force is focused on balancing your hormones, balancing your body composition, reducing inflammation. And when you balance your hormones, that is balancing your hormones in preparation for a healthy pregnancy. There's a lot of women that actually got off of birth control while inside of She's a Force because they started to understand the consequences of that.
There are things that the medical system will assign you or prescribe you because it's a Band-Aid and not a solution. And it would piss me off long before we even got together. I think that's, again, you are me, I'm you. Like, we get it. The girls are going to get it. And so, like, listen, I think sometimes you have to do what you have to do to survive. Like, you cannot think about thriving sometimes. And I've had, like, a friend in that position where she couldn't even get to that point of, like, thinking about thriving because her I think, is it PMD or what happens? PCOS, but there's like the depression that comes with it alongside it.
PMDD.
Yeah, it is PMDD. Like, it wasn't a matter of like, oh, I can do this in 3 or 4 months. Like, she needed a solution, and I get that. So I want anyone listening to know that I do understand that sometimes you have to do what you have to do in the moment. Like, sometimes the antidepressants is the answer for that time, for that moment. And everyone's different too. So no blanket statements from me. So knowing that, but also knowing how the medical system doesn't treat the root cause. It doesn't aim to heal you. It aims to subdue you, essentially. Like, it aims to just like be a Band-Aid because it's way more profitable long term for them to keep you on the medications that they prescribe you. Like, I never was an advocate for any of those short-term solutions for the long term. And even now, like, I see so many like otherwise healthy women who have a number of like symptoms like PCOS and like, acne and weight gain. And their doctors are like, oh, well, this is Ozempic, it's perfectly safe. But we also know that actually it's not. Like, there's side effects to everything, but not eating fucking protein and vegetables. There's no fucking side effect to that except for like looking good and feeling good. All of it.
And I know that it's not that simple, which is why I have it.
No, it is though. It's really not that hard. Like,
yeah.
It's not. And I want people to understand that because I'm commenting on some women's posts now kindly, sensitively, but just they're pushing these medications, even though it's not that they really need them. They're doing it for vanity, similar to us, and their doctors are telling them it's perfectly safe, but it does lead to bone density, like issues, losing bone density, muscle mass. You can see it in people's faces. You can see it in their lack of tone. Like, when they really are on it for a long time, it is not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, get a blood test, get your supplements in check. And like, something that we talk about a lot, and I wanted to address this too. It's not about what can I not have. It's what am I, like, you talk about standards, like, it's like, what am I going to eat that's going to make me feel good? Because trust me now, when I have sugar, instant headache, and like, sometimes it's worth it. Fuck it. I'm going to have the dessert, because like, it's not that I'm like, not going to live my life, but what does it mean to live your life? Like, if you want to live your life feeling good 99% of the time, then you make adjustments to do that, period. I'm excited to just be creating more content, to be showing up more actively on camera, which I always did because, hello, again, if I got to do something, I'm going to do it. But I have a different relationship to it now, so, and it's easier for me now than it was. I understand that timing is something, like, it is real. And also, like, you said this in your live with me in your testimonial, like, you weren't ready, but you were willing. And that's where I was at too. Like, financially, also, like, I was moving cities. I was like, there was a lot going on. I had a lot of obligations. And so that was a concern, as was just like the stress of moving and the time and everything. And I'm so glad that I was not ready, but like willing to do the work. Yeah.
Thank you again for sharing your story. I think a lot of women will be able to see themselves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saskia. Karely, I am just so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you.
I love you.
I love you. And I'm so happy for you. You look so fucking good and you're just radiating, and I am here for literally all of it. Mwah.